Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I heard you.
Okay. No, I don't have two phones and an iPad.
Screwed up. Yo, what's up? This is Madular FPV here. Goonskwad, Goon Chat. Getting
What's
started
up,
on our very
fellas?
first stream. Go ahead, Artie.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? I'm Artie. What's up, fellas?
We got Dumpling over here. And we have our
What's up,
very,
guys?
Hey, what's up?
very
I'm Artie.
special guest, Kevin Glen Plaizier. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Butchering that?
Plaizier?
It's Plaizier, but Plaizier.
Plaizier? Well, thank you. I'm
Plaizier.
sorry. I should have actually asked you that before we started this.
Butchering
So I'm just
that?
going to go ahead.
Plaizier.
And we work together, and I'm butchering your name. Plaizier. All right, cool. So,
Yeah, not a common one.
Yeah, where is that from?
From the Netherlands.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you're
not a common.
from the Netherlands?
I'm
Yeah,
from,
where
I'm
is
from
that
America.
from?
Like my grandfather came over from the
Oh, that
Netherlands
makes sense.
back in the 50s.
Wicked. Awesome, man. Awesome.
I'm
So
from
tell us a
America.
bit about
like,
yourself,
my
Kev.
grandfather came over from the Netherlands. Well, back in the 50s. So I'm one of the Emuflight developers. Been doing that since this last summer. I'm currently a university student. I'm one of the Emuflight going to school studying electrical engineering, and my school is also offering a drone program. I'm currently a university student, and I also work for my school as a drone pilot and my slash engineer slash whatever else they want me to do. Well, and it basically entails flying. I also work for my school as a drone pilot, drones, like big 21-inch prop hexacopters. It basically entails flying fixed wing planes, building them, helping design them, like big whole deal. Prop hexacopters. Kind of a basic intro to me. Building them, helping design them.
Wicked. And how long have you been developing?
That's. I started developing the Emuflight software. It was probably July of this year. I started developing the Emuflight software. It was probably
That's not a lot of time,
July
man.
of this year.
Making big waves.
Not for what we've accomplished. Not for not for all the great things that are coming and all the work that's been done and everything that's been accomplished so far. That's not a lot of time. Wicked.
Right
So I guess what is the stream about? Well, we're look at Artie's face. So this is our attempt at getting something different going, trying to have some guests, discussing
Trying to spotlight kind of thing. Get people out there, talk about stuff that's current. Try to spotlight.
Talk about technology trends and things of that nature.
People out there. Talk about.
Sure, it's gonna be a little
current.
snafu tonight because this is our first one and we're still getting our stuff together. But bear with us and hopefully you'll find it entertaining. So what's up with technology?
Are you talking as far as hardware goes?
Yeah, like, goggles. You want to talk about goggles? Should we start with goggles? What's going on with goggles?
As far as hardware goes?
Well, we got two kind of big players in the game, bringing a couple new models, kind of an answer to
Well,
we got two kind of big players in the game. Fat Shark has been slow to kind of take customer feedback and add some features and just kind of babysitting that. Fat Shark has been, and then Orca came along and tried to give everybody what they wanted, and kind of babysitting that. Fat Shark came through, and then Orca came along, and of course the inevitable tried to give everybody what they wanted.
I was gonna say,
HD video. Fat Shark came through,
DJI. They got analog working all better.
DJI.
Have you guys flown with DJI?
Yeah.
Has anybody flown with DJI yet?
DJI.
I personally haven't. I've heard lots of good things, and then also some mixed reviews. I personally am not going to invest in it just because I don't think it's. And then some mixed reviews. For what I'm doing, which is like freestyle. Not going to invest in it just because far away, behind stuff, through stuff. For what I'm doing, my analog works great. Like freestyle. It's predictable. I know how it is. I'm not far away. I'm not making a switch, but I mean, it looks awesome. My analog works great. I want to see that clearly. And we're getting closer. I'm not making a switch, but I mean, but the goggles technology that's I want to see that clearly. That's come recently is really kind of stepping that up and making that gap a little smaller between the analog and the digital, in my opinion. But I haven't really kind of stepping that up.
I think the analog stuff is
making that gap a little smaller
right.
between the analog
it's taken a long time.
The digital, in my opinion. But I haven't.
I think DJI is definitely a step in the right direction, but I'm personally not totally down with the implementation. Like the way it's all one closed ecosystem. Hey,
Chad, I hate to cut you off, man, but we're getting a bad echo.
Bad echo, yeah. I just got
everybody in the chat is.
I think it is it.
Hey, Chad,
is it from? I don't know. Let's try to get rid of that.
Bad echo, yeah. I just got
everybody. Somebody got the.
Is somebody
YouTube
listening to the stream?
I'm not.
Somebody.
All right, let me try something here.
Got the YouTube.
All right, I muted Dumpling because I had a feeling it might be his mic. I muted you. Is the stream clean?
How's it sound right now, guys?
The stream any better?
Okay.
How's it sound?
All right, so I'm hearing it, and it seems to be coming from Dumpling's mic. So you should mute yourself, Dumpling, for now until we figure it out. And then when you want to talk, just unmute yourself. And hopefully that is the fix.
It's working.
Sick. All right, cool. So so DJI and stuff, and goggles and stuff. So, yeah, we're gonna have to get a mod too to help us with this chat at some point. But, anyways, because I'm not paying attention to it. I don't even have my glasses on right now. so man, I tell you, like for me, like the DJI thing, like I said, I feel it was like a step in the right direction. I feel like the the actual deployment is not my style. I really like the open source aspect to FPV. I feel that things like Bifrost hopefully will help bring that and grow that more organically to what we're all used to, and not kind of being overtaken by this big system you have to install. I mean, I think it's a cool step, and I want to see it grow. I'm excited to see HD grow. But as a glasses wearer, I would have to say that for me, my upgrade to HDO2 really feels welcome. It really feels. I'm glad they finally did that. Like having the adjustable focus for me is amazing because thankfully I'm within that +2 to -6 diopter range, and it's the best look I've ever seen in an analog goggle.
So tell me the differences. I mean, you're coming from the HD2s, which is still that big field of view, but LCDs. Tell me the differences. Just not as clear pictures. So still that big. What are the things you really notice? Do you notice any of the kind of tunneling and not as clear picture effect that you're getting?
I didn't I noticed. I've heard some comments about the circles or whatever, but I don't notice that at all. I don't. For me, focusing at the screens, it's like tack sharp, really sharp and clear from edge to edge. And on my HD2s, I had to wear diopters. And they get dirty and scratched, and you're in the field, and God knows what happens, and just when I started FPV, it was awesome. It didn't matter, but as I've gotten older and more mature with it, I this last year especially, I'm just like, damn, I feel like I'm squinting. I don't know if maybe I just need to change the diopters or whatever, but it just wasn't very clear. And then when I got the HDO2s, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I can see everything from edge to edge. My OSD pops. It's mad tack sharp. I can really clearly see the OSD. The saturation, I probably am going to back off a hair, but the colors are way more vivid with the OLEDs. It's night and day. Contrast, all that.
Yeah, I've got the HDOs, and I mean they were a step up in picture quality from the HD3s. Yeah, I've got the HDOs, which is what I started with. I mean, I started with some box goggles before that, but from the HD3s, which is what I started with. Yeah, I'm sure that was a big jump. Some box goggles before. They look really nice. I can't wait to try them out. I've got some Orcas on the way. Yeah, I'm sure that was a big jump. Although still not here. Nice. I can't wait to try. So I can't really compare. I've got some Orcas on the way. I was like backer number 80. I got the blue color though, so I'm willing to wait. I can't really. But from what I hear, it's excellent stuff, and they're super comparable. I can't wait to try them and see kind of what the extra stuff, because I got the FPV. From what I hear, it's excellent stuff, and they're super comparable. And streaming live DVR, that's super cool. The extra stuff.
That Wi-Fi connection looks sick. I mean, I think that's a pretty. I think the two things I like about the Orcas is I do like the Wi-Fi streaming. And I do like, I'm trying to watch the chat too. I do like the upgraded DVR. I'm going to mute myself for 2 seconds. I just want to listen to this chat. So I'll be right back.
Yeah, so that DVR, the 60 FPS, and just the fact that you can upgrade firmwares, I just think that's next level. That DVR, the 60 FPS, and
you know what I think would be really next level to have see come out? We could get DJI to make a module for their HD. You know what I think would be bonus, really and you could stick them in one of our proper goggles, DJI, and really get that nice view of their HD. Because I've seen some reviews. I've seen reviews where people are using the HD setup, goggles, the DJI HD goggles, but they're using analog. I've seen some reviews, and they're like, it's good, the latency's gone with that update, but the image quality still just isn't as good as my Fat Sharks or my other goggles. And they're like, it's good, the latency's gone. I really think that if DJI would have just made their goggle better than now that it works with analog really well, I really think that if DJI would have just made really hard to even think of any other goggles.
I think I like the fact that they did a goggle, and but I personally feel like if they would have just simplified things and just done a camera, a VTX, and a receiver module, and of course have your own goggles as well, but if that receiver module would have somehow been able to integrate in everything else everyone else is using, I think they would have killed it. I think it would be a wrap if they would have broke it down in that way and let other people have the opportunity to make cameras for it, as an example. Oh.
Word.
Everybody stopped talking. I was like, whoa, is everybody hearing me? So for some reason they're saying you're echoing, Hardy. I'm trying to figure it out. Make sure it's not on my ends, but I don't see why. So you got me? All right. So I guess maybe just mute and then unmute, which sucks for now until we figure it out.
Word, that's what I've been doing, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, word. I don't understand why you're echoing. I don't hear it anywhere in our chat, and I don't hear it. I don't see any reason why it should be in the stream. But all right, we'll just have to work through it. We're gonna work through it, guys. Hopefully, we'll get it on the way. Wicked. So, Orca's coming. Do you know, since you're a pre-order guy, have you gotten any indication of when yours is gonna ship?
They're hoping for next week is when the colored batches should come in. They've already sent out 200 or 300. They're hoping of the black next week is when the colored from their first come in. They've already sent backers, so 200 or 300. Hopefully, we'll see it by the end of next week or first of the following from their first. But they're not the best at the estimate game, so hopefully we'll see it.
What shade of blue are those goggles going to be?
First of the following. It's a navy color.
But navy, okay.
Navy,
but darker
estimate game, so.
What shade of blue are those goggles going to be?
It looks good. It's like Vanover blue.
Navy, okay.
Unfortunately.
Darker blue.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, actually, let me I don't want to talk shit, but Vanny roll?
No, he's a great pilot. He's awesome. When I met him, he was like just off the kilter. No, he's a great pilot. He's awesome. When I met him, he was like, no animosity, but just off.
Yeah, of course.
Not my guy.
I mean, I guess when you're young and you're that good, I guess a certain amount of arrogance comes with it.
I would be too. Absolutely.
Right?
Not my guy. I'd be already rolling all over your face.
I mean, yeah. So I guess can't fault it.
I'd be already rolling all over your face.
I was just surprised by that, though, the Vanny roll thing. I'm just like, I've seen people do it for bajillion years, man. I'm just like, well, really? Like, I'm surprised by that. Like, I don't know. I'll leave it.
I would say this. Like, I'm not a fanboy or anything, but he definitely, in my opinion, made it look. I would say this, like,
yeah,
I'm not a slow down rates close to the ground. That's what makes, in my opinion, good freestyle FPV the best. Close proximity to stuff. Just slow down rates close to the ground. That's what
he's
makes
perfected that
good
style.
freestyle
Really well.
FPV is
I
close
felt like
proximity to stuff. Just shows
one thing I did want to mention about the DJIs though is we were actually flying over at the
really
Pilgrim Bando here in Long Island this last weekend, and there was 2 guys running DJI, and they literally, like, when they were about to go on the line, we were, the line, quote unquote, they were like, okay, nobody else plug in, we're flying. And we're just like, and I was kind of like, really? Why? What's the deal with that? And they're like, everybody seems to have problems when we're flying. And a couple of us were new to the spot and da-da-da-da, and a couple people, there was a lot of us. Of course, a couple of the analog guys were like, fuck it, we're going up. And it didn't seem to be working well, honestly, having the 2 DJI guys and the analog guys flying together. And I mean, we were all on, the majority of us were on race bands. So, I mean, we try to stay on race band and try to be respectful and, call out who's going next, da-da-da-da-da. And it just wasn't really working. Like, for me personally, especially me flying the 10-inch, the macros, it's just like going into the Bando at all just created a lot. I just had mad problems. And it got to the point where I just decided to land because I was like, this is not worth it. I'll just wait and alternate, So one thing I really want to do is I've actually got a portable RF spectrum analyzer, and I got an application on my tablet that actually will show me all the bands at the same time. So I just want to go up to a DJI system and just scan it and see, because as I understand it, not only is it getting information from the VTX, but it's also communicating back bidirectionally. So there's definitely a lot of bandwidth usage there. And I'm really curious, especially to know what that talkback or that handshaking channel is about. I don't know what frequency it's on. I don't know if it's in some sort of relationship to, the primary bands, or how the hell it actually works. I'm really curious about that, actually.
Yeah, that's crazy. I imagine it's some kind of frequency, hopping, like not MIMO, but yeah, that's crazy. Something.
Well, you would think it would be, the talkback, because I know it does a handshake. Because I know that when you spectate a DJI system, they say, or maybe this has changed I know there's a lot of firmware changes, so I don't want to speak outdated information, but I know initially they were saying spectator mode wasn't going to be as good a quality as what the primary goggle user was seeing for whatever reason. I believe it's because that bidirectional communication is only applicable to the primary channel, not the spectators, as I understand it. So it's interesting. So there's something going on there. But all I know is the bandwidth was killing some of us. Like, it was pretty hard. That. It was pretty hard. And I know JB did a video and he was saying, you definitely needed some separation.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't think we ever got a clear answer from anybody. I don't know if he continued that and answered that, but I'm really curious how many bands of separation you actually really need to get clean analog when you're flying with a DJI pilot. It's an issue. I don't know how they're going to race with it. That's the concern,
Yeah, I think I can't remember. I was reading somewhere where they're coming up with some kind of way to do like a race mode in their firmware. Where they're coming up with some kind of, I don't really know. I don't want to speak to it, like a race mode. It's something to address that. Supposedly is coming.
What up, Danger Dave? What's up, Tech Les? Let me shout out a couple people.
It's something to address
Neverland
that.
FPV. What's up, Kush? Be rad in the motherfucking house. I hope you guys are still bearing with us and the audio is starting to clean up. I'm not listening to the feed, so just let us know. We'll try to keep up on it. Techless says, don't forget freezing at 50 feet away. It's a DJI rig. I actually, I told a funny, the DJI guy goes up and he's ripping around. All of a sudden, bang! We're like, what happened? Didn't you see it fucking coming? Like, fucking, thought you guys could see fucking everything. It was like Scraggle City, man, and everybody was crashing, but it was just, it was kind of funny because fucking.
You gotta harp on those dudes. They got the best vision. If anybody can see it, it should be you.
Absolutely.
You got to harp on
you know,
those,
and
man.
I got to get
That's
out
business.
actually and fly the macro.
If anybody
with
can see
the,
it should be
with
you.
the H2O2s. I haven't done that yet, truth be had. So this weekend I'll be able to give you a really good report on the, you know, I'm using the Rattel on one of the macros, and I'm using a Runcam Eagle on the other, or Micro Eagle, on the other. So I'll let you know what I think about the two cameras in the H2Os versus next time we do this. And I don't know. So I'm stoked. Like I said, for me to be able to see without diopters is fucking massive.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
You know, and with what TBS is doing with Fusion, when that hopefully comes together, I think
awesome,
is going to be really exciting. I mean, you know, I know they've announced some kind of, you know, VTX follow mode or something where effectively your Crossfire and everything's supposed to talk to each other somehow. And I think that's going to be pretty
sick.
interesting to see how that comes. Yeah.
Just sheer convenience factor, man. That would be switch sick. Things up. It changes everywhere.
Dude, I mean,
man. Just sheer convenience.
You know,
factor,
I don't know what
man.
they're doing, but I would love to see some
switch things up. It changes everywhere.
And I think the DJIs can do this. I think there's some way they can scan the area and try to find the best RSSI. And I hope that Fusion does something like that at some point, because I think that would be dope. I think that would be really clutch.
Well, to go along with, you know, the VTX follow or whatever it would be. I mean, that would be excellent. Well, to go along with pull everything to that VTX follow, the cleanest channel, and it would be let you go. Be excellent.
So P-Rad says keep your comments at 10 seconds and there's no echo.
The cleanest channel.
We'll figure this out later, but all right.
Let you go.
All right, we're on a time limit. So yeah, I mean, so what do you think about like things like that? You know, let's segue. So going into like the future FPV, you know, and like cinematography, for example, you know, we got this fucking Cinewoop craze going on, you know, with fucking squirts and geysers and everybody and their brother now Diatone and iFlight, and everybody's fucking putting out a Cinewoop. What do you guys think about that?
I think they look fun and awesome.
I'm excited for Bob Ruge's Cinewoop.
Yeah,
I'm always excited to see what he has. I think they look to put out. I haven't bought anything yet, to be honest. But he does do cool shit. Yeah, I'm always excited to see what he has to put out. Have
you seen it, Kev? I haven't seen it,
to be honest. But
I think he posted like one picture of some of the ducks that he used on one of them. But that's all that I've seen of it.
Have you seen any, like the Diatone
one picture of some of the ducks that he used on one of them? I've seen some of these new Cinewhoops that have the rubber, not the rubber, they've got like the foam padding around the ducks. That looks kind of nice for just the Cinewhoops that I'm flying indoors and this is just going to feel safer, even if it really isn't that much safer. It'll probably make the quad bounce off the walls a bit nicer without breaking your 3D printed ducks. Even if it really isn't that much safer. So those ones will probably make the quad bounce off the walls a bit nicer without breaking your 3D printed ducks.
What do you think about the
so
I was going to say the
as long as they can keep the weight down.
Like Andy Shen, basically his ducks were purposeful in two ways, I guess. One was, you know, obviously to help create more safety, but you know, they also add more thrust. So what do you think about like how some people seem to be kind of applying that, and some people are just making safety drones basically? So what do you think about that?
I think that like I've looked into ducks and their efficiency, and if you do it right and you do it lightweight, the ducks can give you that extra efficiency. That, like, the way that we like to fly around when we start trying to fly forward, if you do it right and you do it lightweight, a ton more drag off of your ducks efficiency. The way that we like to fly around Cinewoop or something, you're not even going super fast, but that whole advantage of the drag off efficiency with the ducks might even be, you know, essentially negated. Not even going super fast, but that trying to fly around and just the extra weight, ducks might even be the extra air drag. Essentially versus just no ducks at all. You're probably trying to fly around, not going to end up with as much. So I think that the extra air, a proper Cinewoop, if you could just get that prop protection, you're probably and keep it as light as possible. That's probably going to give you the best experience. You know, a proper Cinewoop, especially if you want to do that prop protection and mild acrobatics with it. That's probably going to give you the best experience.
Yeah, definitely. It always looks like if you want to holding altitude is like their hardest thing is just to hover. Yeah, definitely. It always looks like holding altitude.
It definitely has that tendency.
Like their hardest.
Now I need to get mine tuned out on Emu, but I definitely notice that tendency when I'm young and turning a little more to wash out. Very much like a whoop. Like it was just like wow, it's just like a big whoop, as far as the way it handled in general. What I'm used to in older whoops. Alien Whoop with silverware definitely fixed a lot of that. Emuflight's fixed a ton of that issue. My F3 whoop flies better than ever. I've never seen anything like it actually. But that's what I noticed on my Cinewoop that I just built, that I'm just still working on getting it tuned out and stuff. And I'm really excited for the release that's coming up. So what do you feel like this technology, and especially the Emuflight, let's start segueing into Emu, how do you feel about the technology and the firmware allowing us to create better content and get more cinematography tools, like the little box on the Brain FPV Radix? That's a sick thing where you can actually kind of set it up where your GoPro's framing is.
Yeah,
it's a dope feature. So
that's something they're adding to Betaflight actually. But
it's a great idea. It took them too long to do it. But.
Right.
That's something they're adding to Betaflight.
What else do we
actually
see that's like
it's
pushing
a great
that
idea.
Took them too long to do it.
Well, I mean, just with all flight firmwares out there, just the setup is getting a little bit easier with Betaflight, not as much, but still the setup's getting a little bit easier out there. And just your flying experience in general is getting a little bit easier with Betaflight. And because of that, it just takes less effort to get a brand new quad, tune it up, get it ready to fly. So you just have more time flying, practicing, rather than it just takes less effort, troubleshooting issues with software or hardware. Get it ready to fly. These things are just getting better.
So crazy to me how easy it is to get up in the air now.
Troubleshooting. Yeah, you just think back like 3 years ago, like you'd be spending like a week just getting a quad tuned well so you could finally fly without vibrations. Yeah, you just think back like 3 years ago, and now stock PID, you're like, yeah, this is good enough. I'm just gonna roll with it. You don't touch any vibrations.
Just go.
Truth be had though, I was like,
now
stock PID, you're like, yeah, this is good enough. I'm just gonna roll with it. You don't touch.
I know when I first started about a year ago, I started actually on a Helio, and it was just stock tune. I sent it. I fell in love right then. A year ago, I'm honestly glad I got into it a year ago instead of 3 or 4 years ago. It probably would have discouraged me. I fell in love.
Oh yeah, I bought 4 quads before I got one that I could actually learn with. Like, get up in the air long enough to make anything. I bought 4 quads before I got one that I could actually learn with.
Yeah, I remember my first quad was a KK2. KK2 board.
To progress from
back in the day. Yeah, I remember my last quad was a KK2. PWM from yours.
I came right at the turn of PWM and S-Bus because they had just kind of come out. I came right at the turn using S-Bus, PWM, and I got started 3 years ago. They had just kind of come out.
Yeah, that was huge because that dropped a ton of latency right there. I got
started 3 years ago.
As well as switching over from just using PWM to the ESCs, but moving on to one shot latency right there. But moving on to one shot, multi-shot.
Started flying 3 years ago. It's just leaps and bounds better. Just from start to get in the air and the experience from that start to getting in the air. Before you even try to start to get in the air and get better with anything. From that start to getting in the air.
Keep going, guys. I'm going to see if I can. So
tell us more about Emuflight. So I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I've heard lots of good things. Tell us what it is. Tell me what makes it different. Why it's. I've heard lots of good things. Y'all's project. Tell me your projects. Tell me what makes it different.
I'll just go over a little bit of history. So Emuflight started this summer. Yeah. The only reason it was able to start was because the company Helio RC, they ended up. I'm not sure if they're out of business, but anyways, they ended up because. Completely company Helio RC not doing anything with quads anymore. So their flight controllers stopped making them, stopped supporting them, everything. Completely. But the one really huge saving grace that they had was they open sourced all of their code when they did that. Everything. And so, time went on. Nobody touched that code. Nobody did anything with it. After a while, this guy named this guy named Marinos, time went on. He came around and decided he'd start playing with the filter code on the Helioflight controllers. Not Andre, this guy named. He started messing with that a bit. He came around and decided he'd start playing with the. He'd just go into like the Helioflight controllers, Helio Discord. And he started messing. And he had like one or two people that would test it out for him because at that point, just go into like the quite dead. No one was really touching it anymore, do anything with it. And he had like one or two people. That and after a while, he actually implemented a version of the Helio filter into your regular flight controller. And after a while, he actually, every flight controller, not just of the Helio filter, Helio flight controller should have access to that flight controllers. So
you're saying without having that secondary
Helio flight
MCU or
could have access
IMUF, whatever they are. So you're saying without having that secondary, you could still get that gyro pre-IMUF, whatever. Is it?
So they did the gyro pre-filtering, and if you have it on your main board, it doesn't come pre-filtered, but you'll get the same filter that would be doing that pre-filtering, or at least a similar. If you have it on your main, it's not quite board. It doesn't come pre-filtered, but you'll get the same filter that
similar effect.
Pre-filtering, or at least it's similar. There's one part of the IMUF filter that I've tried copying over,
similar effect,
fairly similarly, and it just hasn't quite seemed to work out. But we have a version of it that I've tried copying over Emuflight for regular flight fairly similarly, and it just hasn't quite seemed to work out. But we have a version.
So why take this on
flight controllers? So
as opposed to just flying with, say, like Beta Flight or Flight 1? So why take this on?
So at least for me personally,
just flying with, say, like Beta Flight or
just for whatever reason, I've never really been a Beta Flight fan. At least for me personally, when I started out,
I understand.
Just for whatever reason, when I started out flying, I was doing the KK2 board, and then of course I did do a little bit of clean flight, and then when I started out, I heard about race flight, the KK2 board, decided to start using that, and I ended up liking a little bit race flight back when it was open source, and I heard about it was just starting out. I liked that more than I enjoyed Beta Flight, and I ended up liking. So I flew that for a bit back when it was open source, and then I ended up actually serving a 2-year mission. Just a religious mission for 2 years.
Where was that?
I did that in England, a 2-year mission. Cool. Yeah, so I lived in England for 2 years. It was really good experience. And I did that in England. When I finished all of that, I lived in England for 2 years. I hadn't really touched quads for like 2 years. Came back, and Helio was out. All of that, and the guy that created Race Flight was working on that. Like 2 years. And one of the guys that I lived with when I was living over in England was out. His brother-in-law, the guy that created Race Flight, was actually one of the Helio developers. One of the guys that I lived with when I was ended up having some chats with him, and I ended up getting some of the Helio. Was actually one of the Helio developers, and I really liked that flight controller. Ended up having some chats with him, and I ended up had some other non-Helio flight controllers, and I still just preferred Butterflight on those. I really liked that as opposed to running Beta Flight. Just for whatever reason, non-Helio flight controllers, and I still just after Helio went out of business, I was like, all right, what am I going to be using? Because all this Helio stuff's gone. For whatever reason, not likely that. But yeah, after Helio went out of business, I was like, all right, what am I going to ended up actually getting a Revolt. Helio stuff's gone. Not a Revolt. I got their mini flight controller, their millivolt, because I only run 20 by 20 stacks. I ended up actually getting a Revolt. But
I hadn't made the
mini flight controller, their millivolt, because I only run 20 by 20 stacks.
Nice. But I hadn't made the adjustment yet, but I'm hoping to with this SpecTech stuff.
20 by 20 6S, it's the way to go. But
how does it hold up? I always worry about this. I know, it is the same thing, just different form factor, but it just seems this little board taking all that voltage is just gonna fail.
Yeah, I actually use the Ori 32 flight controller. That one's only rated 4S.
That one's been around for a while too.
That one's been out for a while.
Airbot, right?
Yeah, you just stick a big capacitor on it. And I've never had any issues. Actually, the other day I was rewiring some stuff because I had an issue, and I rewired the battery leads in reverse, plugged in a 4S, instantly pulled it out, and everything's still working fine. It didn't fry anything. I still fly that quad all the time.
Damn, that's crazy.
I really trust that speed controller. I'm not so sure I trust much else when it comes to speed controllers.
Yeah. They just take a beating.
Yeah, and it's 20 by 20, so it ticks all my boxes. But yeah, so I got myself a millivolt. I was like, all right, I'm going to give Flight 1 a try, because back in the day I was a race flight fan.
Hallelujah, I fixed the audio. Sorry.
The unique frame that I designed, and it just did not like it.
I do. I'm fucking over here like, oh, what can I change? All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully now we can focus. I'm sorry. I know you guys were focused, but I wasn't. But go ahead. Let me.
All right. So yeah, I ended up trying Flight
Right.
1. I couldn't actually get regular Flight 1 to work on my quad just with how I had my board mounted. Instead of because I have this really unique frame that it mounts the board sideways. So instead of mounting it flat, it actually mounts it like this on the frame.
Gotcha.
So like your yaw would actually be your pitch. It's really odd. In regular Flight 1, you couldn't get the configurator to actually recognize that. So I flashed Falco X, tried it for a bit, and I just couldn't actually get it to fly in the air. And I was like, all right. I spent like a couple days trying to fly. Yeah, I couldn't get it to fly for whatever reason. It was when one of the first public Falco X releases was out, and I was like, all right, I'm sure Falco still flies well, but I just didn't get a chance to fly it. And so I just flashed Butterflight on that quad, and I was like, dang, this thing flies great on Butterflight. And for whatever reason, I just decided to hop on the Helio Discord. Not sure why. And I heard about Marinos and the work he was doing with the Helio IMUF code, and I was like, dang, that's really cool. But at that point, he was only doing it on Helio for Helio boards, and I was like, all right, this is just some fun little hobby project that'll last a while, and then it's going to die because there's no hardware to support it. But that's when he ended up making some of that code work on regular flight controllers. I was one of the first guys to end up testing some of that stuff out, and that's kind of where it all began. And that main Marinos, he was just looking for more people to help him with the project, and so that's kind of where I came in, stepped up, and decided to help out, help push things forward, because I really just enjoyed this stuff.
Nice. That's awesome. So tell me some of the features and things on Emu that are, set it apart from, say, something like Betaflight or Flight 1.
Yep. So currently, actually wrote down a little list of some of that stuff. Nice. If you're running the current version of Emuflight, version 0.1, and you're not on a Helio board, you actually have an issue with that IMUF filter code, so it's not actually working properly. But we have gone through and completely.
So would we consider?
That.
You think? Are we still? Will this still be considered a beta, the next release, or do you feel like we're getting close to more of a what we would consider an official, stable release? Like, how do we want to call that?
So what our plan is with the release right now is to release kind of a release candidate. Let anyone who wants to try it, just under the guise that we're not sure if everything's 100% correct, but we do have a team of testers that goes out, tries all our latest code, looks for bugs themselves, and to our knowledge, it's good, but we could have overlooked things. Then we'll go out to version 0.2. We're still going to consider that a beta build, even though it will be, stable.
The official. Yeah.
But it'll still be a beta build. And the time that we're finally going to get off of this beta build thing is once we update our code base, the point that we have a lot of what we're missing that Betaflight has. Because right now our code's always been a fork of Butterflight, and the latest Butterflight was, the closest Betaflight version that it was similar to was version 3.5.7. And so
that was the last one I tried until 4.0, I think.
Yeah. And so, we don't really want to grab a lot of the flight code that comes in Betaflight 4.0 or 4.1. Like there's some of it that we do have an interest in, that we will be grabbing, like their new feed forward, some of the other code that they've got, we do have an interest in, but a lot of it we don't. So we're just going to work on grabbing a lot of their non-flight code that we're hoping to sticking have that as our project, full release with full target support. Because right now they're basing it off of their few targets that we, then once we don't support because they weren't supported back in 3.5.
Well, like great. Now boards? I can't hear them. Sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but hold on one sec.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Monitor off.
I've noticed what little bit of echo I was
So sorry.
hearing earlier went away.
Maybe
I've
they're
still
telling
been
me that
staying
now they're hearing the
them.
echo and not the main part of the feed, which is
I don't think
really
it was you.
fucking
It was Chad
confusing because I can see it. Yeah, it's like we hear the echo. It's out of sync. Well, they said I'm out of sync now.
What?
But maybe that's what Red heard earlier, and I changed it, and then we broke it. You know what I'm saying? Is it just me that's out of sync, guys?
Yep. I think it's just you that's in sync, and we're all delayed like 10 seconds.
Delay on
like I was earlier when we tried
damn
this.
it. Sorry, guys. I just can't believe we tested this all day and it was working fine, and now all of a sudden we have an issue. What? Bro, what the fuck?
We just spent 4 hours on this shit trying to get it clean. Well,
Yeah, no shit, right? They're telling this. So for it's dope. Somebody's talking about bandos. I don't know who's out of sync anymore. They keep telling me some people said I'm in sync, and then they said you guys are out, and then one guy was saying I'm out of sync, and you guys are. I was like, I don't know who's out of sync anymore. I don't want to keep fucking with it and totally break it. Oh, now they're saying they only hear you guys. Let's just fix.
Can hear us. Right. Maybe if our mouths are a little off, that'll be all right.
Say what?
All I see.
All right, hold on a second.
The latest thing I see is they only hear.
I did break it.
All the audio's good. You already.
Oh, that was a real echo.
Broken.
Can you guys hear me?
It's all good.
Keep talking.
It would have been broken. It probably would have never started if I.
Yeah.
When I look at your
I got hella echo now.
I can't see anyone's name on the left. I can see the chat overlay, and I hear some echo right now.
All right, that should go away. Keep going. Somebody talk. Just keep talking to me so I can keep working on this. I know it's crazy, right?
Go away. What's going away?
All right.
All right.
Normally, we just use that on the iTerm to boost the iTerm at full throttle. So I'll run a TPA of about 1.8, boost my iTerm up to 1.8 times as high as it normally is at full throttle.
Does that seem to help it?
Yeah, for me, it seems to help with some of those bobbles that you get when you give it full throttle and just kind of pull your throttle all the way down.
I have that bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it kind of helps with that. And then as well, just at full throttle, just having that slightly higher I-term, if I do like a quick full throttle flip or something, it just feels maybe just a little cleaner.
A little tighter, a little sharper.
Yeah, and so that's something that we currently have in there. Another thing that's in there is this feature called eye decay. And you've probably heard of like, I can't think of what they call it. Got that I-term dampening feature in beta flight.
What is that called?
Oh, you know what? Why can't I think of it right now? But anyways, we've got eye decay. And what it does is it's a way of limiting kind of your I-term. What it does is as your I-term decreases, because I-term in your PID controller is really slow. So just over time, it'll slowly accumulate and slowly drop down. And it kind of acts really slow to just kind of hold you where you're at. And the issue with that is if you do a quick flip, you'll raise your I-term a bunch. And by the end of your flip, you'll still have a bunch of I-term left over. And you'll get this little bobble at the end of your flip from all that built up I-term. So what eye decay does is when your I-term starts to decrease, it increases how quickly it decreases. Okay. So with some of these quick flips or other moves, it'll just quickly get rid of your I-term and just keep your quad more locked in.
Keep it from oscillating on the end of it.
Yeah, helps out with that. And then as well with like a whoop, if you like end up hitting an object and it bounces you, that'll
it just goes crazy.
Yeah, and then it just kind of goes off forever. Like this thing will help.
No saving it.
Yeah, nice. This feature helps with that when you bump into anything because it'll get rid of your I-term quicker than normal.
Nice.
So that's a kind of cool feature that's in there right now. Yeah, most of the other stuff is things that are yet to come out. One of the things we're adding that was super requested, this isn't unique to Emuflight, but we've added motor output limiting.
So you could take a 6S set or a 4S setup, put it on 6S and dial back that motor limit. Is that
so you can say, so you can say like, at full throttle, I'm only giving, the max that my motors can give is 60% or 50%. You get a pick.
Nice. I still got a lot of 4S motors I'd love to trash.
Yeah, and so that's something that was really requested. So we ended up adding that to the code.
I think that's a great feature, just because of that. It's a big expense to go from 6S to 4S. Batteries and motors being
all of that.
Yeah, it's just the total cost. So if you could at least hold on to the motors, and then just have to upgrade your electronics if they can't take it. Although every 4S thing that I own has had 6S to it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, nowadays pretty much everything's 6S capable. So if you're running a 4S build, it's just the motors.
Yeah, exactly.
And the batteries.
Exactly. That's a super cool feature.
Yeah, and so like I say, there's a lot of features kind of like that feature that are sitting in, the newer releases of beta flight that we just don't have yet. Because we really like our flight code. We like the way that it handles in the air and how it maneuvers. But there's some of these non-flight related code pieces that we really just want to take a piece of and add into Emuflight.
Yeah, just make it your own. Add it to your code.
So after this big release, that's one of the things that we're going to start pushing towards is updating our code base to be more current, I guess.
Absolutely. So, and this is acceptable on any beta flight controller, race flight controller, KISS flight controller.
Yeah. So right now you can fly Emuflight on, if you've got a race flight quad, you can flash it. If you've got KISS, you can flash it. The only thing you can't is some of the brand new flight controllers made for beta flight.
Like, do you have any examples?
Like I think the iFlight Twin G, some of these new flight controllers made specifically for the DJI Air unit, like the CL Racing HD or whatever.
Yeah.
There's not a ton, but there are some out there. We're hoping to fix that as we move forward, though. So it's currently just an annoyance and an inconvenience that we're hoping to fix.
I'm sure you will, man. I've heard nothing but really great things about the people that I know that fly it currently, and I got a couple friends who are KISS flyers like myself, but on their bigger rigs where they wanted integrated stuff that they didn't have with KISS. Really worked out well for them. It was easy to tune. Yeah, I can't wait to try it. I'm going to flash it on my 7-inch and mess around with it, see what kind of flight I can get out of it.
Yeah. And then let's see, another feature that we've got that's unique to Emuflight is called Emu Boost. And this feature, you can use it to kind of increase your stick feel, but it's a feature that can also help out with prop wash, especially on toothpicks or tiny whoops, kind of those smaller class of drones. They seem to really like it more. But what the Emu Boost does is it takes your P term, and so basically when you do a movement, what causes your quad to move is error that accumulates, and that error comes from, my stick's telling it to go 30 degrees per second, but my gyro's reading 25. And since those two aren't the same, you build up some error. And with your P term, it just takes whatever your P value is and multiplies it by that error that you have to give you the value that P is. And with Emu Boost, it adds a nonlinear boost that just gets added to your P term. So as the error increases, it'll kind of exponentially increase your P term instead of just linearly. And because, exponential can be dangerous with how quickly it can just spike up, we've set a limit on it. And when you're tuning, you can tune how aggressive it is with the Emu Boost, and then what it caps out at with the Emu Boost limit.
Very cool. Is that something that you're seeing people doing, is hitting that limit as to what it effectively does to the
Yeah,
P-term?
so if you're running like before when we were first testing it out, I didn't have any limiting feature to it, and people were getting oscillations all the time when they were using it. So I went back to the code, ended up adding a limit, and it just eliminated all of that. Nice. At least for the most part. If you've still got a really powerful quad and you're maxing out the settings on it, it'll still give you some wobbles, but on less powerful quads.
That's true for anything, right?
Yeah, if you're to just
push it too far, it's just gonna overshoot.
Yeah, so if you've got even your P or I or D, if you just max that out in anything, it's gonna overshoot. But some of these little whoops, they can handle almost, completely maxed values of it and still just fly fine.
Really? That's interesting. I don't really fly much. I haven't flown many whoops lately, just because I was never a big fan of tiny whoops in the first place. I wanted it to fly like a 5-inch, but they're getting a lot closer.
They are, and with some of these new things that we've been adding, it's really helping to get them to fly better.
That's awesome.
Like the Emu Boost stuff, it's able to, I've seen some quads where they're flying before on beta flight or whatever, they flash Emuflight, then they up their Emu Boost, and they're able to get rid of some of those yaw washouts or other little wobbles that just kind of are a normal thing.
Having that added boost to the P gains.
Yeah, and something that we're adding to the new version of Emuflight, because we've already got Emu Boost, is we're splitting it up so that you have Emu Boost for your pitch and roll, and then you've got an Emu Boost for your yaw axis. Because, yaw is always that finicky axis. And, we've got
absolutely.
We've got some users that don't really like Emu Boost on their 5-inch stuff or any of their bigger stuff, but they'll use it on their toothpicks or smaller class stuff.
I was going to ask about the toothpicks, because that's definitely kind of the closest thing I've seen to something that can fly like a 5-inch with the size of slightly bigger than a whoop.
Yeah. And so just recently we decided to split it up so you can tune it for yaw specifically.
Right.
And at least for me, I've mainly just been able to test toothpicks just because of, not toothpicks, tiny whoops, just because of weather and, other things going on. But with that, I've been able to get a whoop that always had a little bit of a yaw bobble, not bobble, but a little yaw twitch. when I'd give it a full stick movement and go about 1,000 degrees a second and just stop it, it would always stop and then move a little. And I couldn't tune that. And once I ended up setting up Emu Boost just for yaw, I was able to just tune that.
How do you go about tuning yaw, Kev?
Really locked in yaw on a whoop, which really impressed me.
Yeah, no, that's hard to do. I've never done it. Hey, excuse me, guys. I'll be right back.
Right.
In general, at least on a 5-inch lately, I've been really enjoying really high P gains. For my lightweight 6S 5-inch quads, I'm running like 120 P for my yaw and about 90 I. And I found that to be real nice. I just like those higher numbers. I've tried those higher numbers in a whoop, and it was just too noisy, and adding that much just made it feel floaty, as it was just adding too much noise to the whole setup. But on my 5-inch, it just kind of made things a bit nicer. And even some of I'd have a little bit of prop wash, and increasing my P gains that high on my yaw axis actually helps with that a little bit. That was something I found interesting. And something else that's kind of different than kind of what Betaflight seems to do is I like to run my I term lower than my P on my yaw axis. Because I've noticed that if I run my I term too high, I get that
I've had to run really low I terms in general.
You do that quick yaw move,
the
and
quad
then you
has
have
so
that
much
slow
authority. It
wobble
doesn't really
afterwards.
seem to have too much problem holding its attitude. You know what I mean? It just seems to be, it's just there. But I've ran some pretty high P gains on it. I'm in the 40s on one of my 10 inches, which is pretty high for a macro, honestly, surprisingly enough. And pretty high Ds as well. I've been able to run pretty high D terms. And I don't know if you talked about yeah. I don't know if you have you talked about SPA at all? And
motors, they cool and
No, I was just about to bring that up, actually. So speaking of, how with your 10-inch, you're running those really low I term gains. We've come up with a feature that might allow you to run higher I term without some of those issues that you run into with high I term. And to do that, we've come up with what I'm calling set point attenuation. So kind of like TPA or throttle point attenuation. It does the same thing, but based on your stick. So if you move your stick to full deflection, whatever value you set for your SPA will be what it multiplies your PID value by. So if you have your SPA for P
it's going to drop
at 100, then it's going to do nothing. If you set it to 50, when you give that full stick movement, your P gain's only going to be half of what it normally is at full stick.
Still,
that's going to drop. If you run it at 150,
right,
it's essentially multiplying it by 1.5, or I think 250 is the max you can do. And so 2.5 is the most you can do, which is a lot. With some of my stuff, I just run it a little bit higher for P, a little bit above 100 for P, same for D, and then a little bit lower for my I term, so that a lot of that I term accumulation you get on these quicker moves, it can kind of negate that by just lowering your I term once you're in a move. Mm-hmm. But then when you're flying straight and level, you can run a lot higher I term, so that if the wind tries to buffet you or anything else,
I know you kind of touched on TPA, and I know that's a big one for me. Like
just a little bit better.
I've actually used a little bit of anti-gravity on my Helio from time to time on the bigger ones, which I know that was always like, no, don't do that. But I know we haven't really had that problem with Emu. I haven't noticed any ill effects. Have you noticed any ill effects with AG on a Helio? Or I haven't heard of anybody having an issue.
I haven't heard of it really. I need to put a new Helio in my quad, because right now it connects to the computer about once a month. So kind of just out of the blue, it'll start working, then it stops again.
Well, so to minimize or not use AG, I've just been boosting TPA on I. But I'm really interested in SPA on D term, because as you know, and we've discussed, D-min isn't a feature currently of Emuflight. We're not sure if that's something we'll add or not, which is,
So call me dumb. What's D-min?
So I don't fully understand how it works. I've looked at the code just a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna work on some other stuff now. But
it's based on stick deflection, and so it boosts D on high rate maneuvers.
It's supposed to boost
and
D
when you come back down towards center deflection, it actually lowers it back. So you effectively set a. I believe there's a couple ways you can run it, but the primary way we would run a big quad, guys, is we would set a D term where the quad flies nice, for the most part, general flight. But if we still have, we have a nice P and D balance, right? But if we still on high rate maneuvers, if we have bounce back, you can turn D-min, you can set it high, and so it will boost on high rate maneuvers. So you might run a standard D term of, I don't know, whatever, 29 or 31 or whatever, 22, whatever it is. But on high rate maneuvers, it might shoot up to 40, 50, 60 even, and help dampen those high rate maneuvers, and then slow back, and that brings it back down. So you're not running that 60D all the time, and you're not burning your motors up. It kicks when you need it, and so like with what Kev's saying is that's effectively what SPA could do in a boost configuration. If you were to go 1.5, for example, and you're running 30, you're up to what, 45, right? So that's fucking dope. That's really dope for big quad guys that need it. And do you know what's the I don't know what's the correct word, what interpolation between the standard, like say I set it to 1.5, right? When I go full deflection, what's the time, what's the difference? What's the time difference for that jump to occur? It's just following tracking set point. Sick.
As far as I know, it should be, following whatever your set point is. So I'm thinking it should be fairly instant, because let me just look at that code. It's either going to happen instantly or it's going to happen after your stick filtering is done.
Right.
So either way, it'll happen when Betaflight Emuflight gets that message that you've moved the stick. That's essentially when it's going to do it. So it's not going to be latent at all. If you bang the stick instantly to the end, it'll just boost it straight away. But yeah, it shouldn't be anything that has much latency, which, yeah, from what I've heard, D-min code, it can work really well, or sometimes I've heard people, it can give them worse oscillations, because it just sometimes seems to boost when it's not good and lowers it when it shouldn't. And it just
the way I approach it is I set up what I felt was a good P to D ratio, and I just had D-min turned off. Set up a decent P to D ratio, and then I started increasing D-min once because I run 3 rate modes. So I run like a really high freestyle, snappy rate mode, kind of a medium, almost stock rate mode, and then I run like a racing really low, like in the 300s rate mode for when I really want to just do proximity and carve trees or race, And so I might tune. On my racing quads, it's actually like 278 on pitch, and like 308 on roll. It takes some getting used to, but once you run like, I don't know, half dozen packs or so, you will. I know you don't really race a lot, but I was racing like crazy for a while, and your lines get so much tighter, bro. I mean, it's unreal. And the reason why I run lower rate on pitch is because I find that when I'm racing, I'm working a lot of roll, but if I don't know if I'm nervous or I have a lot of adrenaline or whatever it is, you're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna bump pitch while you know what I mean. So I just slowed it down, so I'm less likely to overshoot and have to really try to correct hard. And it just helped me keep my pitch really pretty locked overall. And when I do fuck up, I'm not fucking up as badly. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the whole philosophy to that rate mode. But I would never try to freestyle at those rates, because you will. It's just insane. You're like,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man. That was just something I came up with a couple seasons ago. Just because I noticed that, like, I don't know. I might even start doing it in liftoff. Actually, when I was running race track practice, I would just overcorrect on pitch all the time, and so I just like, all right, I'm just gonna slow that down a little bit, and it evened it out for me. It helped a lot. So. Right. Oh no shit! That's right.
That helped me out quite a bit. About 6 months ago,
yeah,
we
that's
were
something
actually
we want to do on the stream, guys, too.
liftoff.
Once we get this audio,
and you gave me that little piece of information.
We're gonna be doing some liftoff. I want to do some goons. Like we'll play some games and shit. We'll do some freestyle shit. Get some guests in.
Definitely.
I think that would be really dope. We'll be doing that on future streams, so that's something to come check out as well. And I think that's liftoff's a really good place to share that kind of shit. You know, like you try something and then somebody can be like, yo, try this rate profile or try this combination. And you know what I mean?
Well,
right.
That'll be super beneficial for me because I'll be like, how do you make it fly like I want to fly it? Otherwise, I'm not going to play it, which is.
I know I did a lot of playing with my rates, and one thing I actually did is I have a kind of lower rate set and then a really high expo going up. So I've got a little bit more fine-tuned there in the center, right by the center of the stick. And then at the end,
I've been playing with lately with my rates. I've been messing with my rates a lot lately.
Yeah. All I really do is freestyle. So it works out good. You know, if I just want to do some slow flying, I'll go through some little gaps, things like that, and then jump up and just do a big flip and bust it over.
I just want a flippy floppy. I love a flippy floppy. I try to deny it. I try to stay straight.
Now, one thing that I'm really interested in is what you were talking about earlier with the whoops, the little tiny whoops. I've got one that I like to fly around here in the house. My son's a year and a half. He just loves it. And I ordered a little
chasing around like little puppies, dude.
I ordered a little receiver that I can hook to my laptop, and then I hook it into my TV, and I'll put him here on the couch and just fly it around right in front of him where he can see it right in front of him and then see the TV behind him staring at himself. And he'll just sit there and stare at it like.
Get him started when they're young.
It's the greatest thing he's ever seen.
I love seeing kids.
Sure. It is. Like, what are you talking about? I can see myself.
Nice. So I actually just got some good news coming in. So
I know.
One of the other Emuflight developers, his name's Low Twice. He's at work right now, so we can't do a whole lot, but he's been sneaking in a little bit of development time. And he's saying that the GUI for version 0.2 is looking like it's good to go. And if that's the case, then release should be, either tonight or tomorrow or sometime soon. So everyone that's excited for that, it's going to be happening ASAP.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
So I'm quite excited for that. So
yeah, that'll be sweet.
Yeah. So just with some more mention of some whoop stuff, lately with some of my coding, I've actually been talking to NFE, or Not Fast Enough, one of the silverware developers, as well as I've been doing more chatting with Patrick Clark, the guy that does Project Mockingbird for Tiny Whoops.
Mockingbird, yeah.
And I've actually added a few features kind of based around that whoop experience. And one of them is the Not Fast Enough Racer mode. And what that mode is, it's only angle mode on your roll. And so pitch is macro, roll is angle. And at least for me, after flying that, I can't fly angle with a whoop. It just feels bad. I just go straight back to that NFE racer mode. It feels so much nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't fly angle mode at all on a whoop. It just never felt right to me. I wonder if that NFE mode would make it feel better, more natural.
Yeah, something that I've noticed is, when you're doing a turn, you're going to give it roll anyways, but your pitch, you might not be giving hardly any pitch. But if you had a normal whoop in angle mode, you'd have to really, crank down that pitch the whole time. Yeah. And so when I do this, I can do these turns and these other moves, and it's, you know, it doesn't feel bad because I'm already giving it roll anyways if I wasn't in angle. And so
I probably went through like 20 frames on my whoop flying it around in the house, just trying to learn proximity flying with it, just because of what you're talking about right there.
Yep. And then to go along with that, we've added something that we're calling cinematic yaw. It's basically just so if you've heard of the FPV camera angle mix feature, where you set it to some value and it mixes a bit of yaw and roll and a bit of roll and yaw. So we've taken that code and set it up so that it reads your angle, and as your angle increases, it changes that so that it kind of as you pitch forward more, you give it that yaw movement and it'll follow it. That mode only works when you're in angle, horizon, or the not fast enough racer mode. Just for whatever reason, it just doesn't work in acro, even if your accelerometer is turned on.
That's crazy.
I spent a few days trying to figure that out. Couldn't figure it out, but
I wonder what would block that. That's crazy.
I'm not sure, but so we've got that, and when you run that code, whatever you have set for your FPV angle mix, that's the max that it will continue the effect. So if you set it to say 20 degrees, once you pitch past 20 degrees, it's just like your angle. It's just like you set that.
That's your limit.
Yeah, because it starts to get real silly when you're at like 90 degrees.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, because then
it's just all roll.
Your yaw becomes roll and your roll becomes yaw. It starts to get a bit weird, and so you can set a limit, find kind of where you like it, but at least like Patrick from, you know, the guy that's running the Mockingbird project, he really likes that because that simulates a lot more closely.
Let me try to do one thing really quick. I just want to do a couple clap tests because I want to get a sense of where we are with this audio. It's so far off right now. It's crazy. And I don't understand why, Aiden. Like, I'm really... You're going to clap? Do it again.
All right.
I can hear you now.
I'm going to clap.
All right.
I just wanted to. Oh, well, awesome.
Cool. So I see in the chat, Washbuilt saying is the cinematic yaw just for whoops? No, I mean, you could use it on whatever you want. If you're going to use it on a 5-inch, you obviously have to have angle mode turned on. If you have NFE mode and you're just racing, you might actually be okay running it that way, because a lot of races you don't really have to go upside down, and you know, or you're running horizon, you could possibly get away with that. But I know some testers that are excited to try messing around more with the not fast enough racer mode and cinematic yaw on some Cinewhoops, and you know, just test out how that works.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, has anybody kind of spent some time with the Cinewhoop and used those modes? Especially seems like for following, and it would just keep everything flatter, keep the be more predictable as far as camera angle and framing.
Yeah, so I think that'll be used more just for some whoop guys as well as just some Cinewhoop guys. I don't think it'll see a ton of use outside of that, but that's still something cool for people interested in doing those kind of things. Definitely something different.
Very cool.
What else do we have?
Cool. So where do you want Emuflight to go? Like, what's kind of the
I'd say the
vision of
kind
how
of the
far y'all want to.
The vision with it is kind of to, I can't speak for all the other devs, but I think they have kind of a similar vision from what I've seen. But kind of the goal with it is to kind of do what Butterflight kind of promised but never lived up to. You know, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, and something to go along with that is I don't want to view us as, you know, Butterflight, which is just we add 3 features and then we just keep copying whatever Betaflight does. The way I kind of want to see Emuflight is more like Raceflight was back in the day when it was open source. You know, it was developed alongside with Betaflight. It did its own things, and it would pull some updates from Betaflight when they thought it was
useful
necessary.
things. Somebody else figured it out.
Yeah,
Don't
why
reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, why
make more work? Let's keep adding to it. I mean, I love that. I love that about most flight controller software is that it is open source and that people have the ability to create and add on.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I see it going. And something else that we'd really love to do is to just simplify things, like Raceflight has with their presets and their really nice GUI. We're hoping one day to have a nice GUI like that. We're really not fans of the current GUI, current configurator. And something really nice that's coming in our new configurator is we're adding preset tunes.
Nice. I think that's what everybody does anyway, is they want to just be able to say, oh, freestyle, click a slider, and there's your PID profile setup, rate setup.
Yeah. So right now with the presets, you're going to have a few of our test pilots. They'll have some default tunes that you can select. It'll have like their name next to it, and then just like what kind of quad it is. So like 5-inch success,
So,
freestyle, or 5-inch race, whatever it is. And then Patrick Clark from the Mockingbird project, he's going to have a preset tune that's going to be coming in, which will be really nice, because with his project, it's kind of like download my diff, paste that in there. Our pilot team, a lot of that we've kind of grabbed a lot of the old Helio test pilots.
Sure.
Helio testers.
So who are some of your
a few
pilots?
of those are old Raceflight guys. There's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
We've got some newer guys in there. None of them have like huge names, but there's guys like Nice Crash. I'm not sure if you've heard of him.
No, but tell me about it.
Nice Crash. He used to be a Helio test pilot. I know he does some stuff with CSGO. CSGO. Real Steady Go, RSGO. There we go. He does some stuff with the Real Steady Go guy. We've got Skyline. He's kind of like one of Kebab's test pilots. Kebab FPV.
Yeah, very cool.
He tests out a lot of the new toothpicks and stuff before anyone else does. He's one of our pilots. Patrick Clark, the Mockingbird guy, he's recently become one of our pilots.
Excellent.
There's a French guy named Pierre Manware. He goes by Falco FPV or something. He's a real good pilot. Yeah, we've got a different set of flying our stuff, and you'll probably, if you watch our YouTube channel at all, which Emuflight, we've got a YouTube channel, and something we're doing on there is we're kind of having like a weekly and show that video kind of as like a spotlight video, just to give some of our community members some spotlight, and just show that we care about our users and our community.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I'll make sure we put a link to y'all's YouTube in our description.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's something we're doing.
Yeah, I didn't put the Emu YouTube in there, but I will. I'll add that tonight after we're done. And I did put the Discord in there, though.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then if you are interested in the development of Emuflight, I'm going forward with pretty much every new test version that comes out. I'll be making a video where I kind of discuss what's changed and how our testers can help me test that out. And
awesome.
On my channel, I've got that. It's kind of dull. It's usually just the Emuflight configurator in the background. Me just
What's your channel?
About a few things. It's just Quick Flash.
Quick Flash. Awesome.
You can lead the search for channels. And
very cool. Very cool.
I do that stuff if anyone's interested in hearing a bit more about the code and the changes.
Sure.
As they come along.
Well, just to kind of change directions just for a second. You said before you're in Utah, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the flying you got out there in Utah.
Right now, there's a lot of
Memphis,
snow.
Tennessee. It's a whole lot of flat.
Yeah, here we've got lots of mountains. If you're into that mid-range stuff, there's lots of cool stuff to fly up mountain slopes or other things. If you go to southern Utah, you've got the red rocks and the desert.
Now, where are you at in Utah?
I'm in northern Utah.
Oh, very cool.
So right now there's about a foot of snow on the ground. It's pretty cold.
Hence the whooping.
Yeah, hence a lot of whooping, sure. and then it's finals this week as well. So I've not had as much time to do things.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything going on.
Yuck.
Yeah, I got 2 tests tomorrow, so
good luck with that, brother, man. I certainly will be thinking about you.
I'm gonna unmute. I'm gonna give up on the audio issues because it's kind of the ship has sailed. Sorry about that.
It's we're at about 80 minutes.
Okay, so let's see. Unfortunately, Kev, I'm sorry. I missed a lot of what was going on.
You've been a bit lost.
Yeah, dude. And I'm sorry. My apologies. We tested the hell out of this earlier, and I don't see an obvious fix. So apologies to our audience out there, because we tried. Artie and I worked on this all day, damn it.
Hey, we spent some time earlier. We thought we'd got it clean.
Yeah.
I work on getting a mic. Hopefully that'll make me more quieter and kind of get that me squared away, so I'm not part of the issue.
I'm just
and hopefully get this worked out by the next.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on this I'm gonna work on this tomorrow and whenever you have time. But so apologies there. So we have hopefully this works with all the issues.
We'll get it there.
It'll work.
No. I'm talking about I want to play the video soon. The Emuflight showcase video.
Our spotlighted video.
We got that up today. Yeah. Did we?
Yeah, I've put that on.
Okay, cool. Wicked. So we want to roll that now, or
let's roll.
Yeah, right. If you can't.
So yeah, like I mentioned earlier.
Go for it.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, every week we're trying to just do a highlighted video, show off a pilot, and looks like we're going to be showing that soon here.
All right,
that's awesome.
So
whenever Chad gets that up,
yeah, hopefully y'all can hear it. If you can't, bear with me, and I don't know, just nod, just say no if you can't hear it when I'm going to send this to you guys. So
yeah.
All right.
So if anyone wants their video highlighted, just start flashing Emuflight, start sending us the videos.
Yeah, no doubt.
We'll highlight you.
All right. You said it. Flash that Emuflight. Get spotlighted.
All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and roll the showcase video, and hopefully this all works.
Get spotlighted. Yeah, roll that beautiful beam footage.
Audio's coming in good, but it seems a little laggy.
All right. You guys are back. You got me? All right, cool.
I've got.
So it's going to the stream. I have no idea if it started on time. It looks like it's in sync on the stream.
Yeah, I can see it on the stream, and it looks smoother than what I was seeing live on my side.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely was.
Yeah, the stream's going to be tighter than the Zoom chat, so it's going to look good. And I'm sorry, what was this pilot's name again?
It was. I'm not sure how you say it, but it was like Guys.
Guys.
G-U-I-Z,
right? G-U-I-Z?
G-U-I-Z FPV, a French pilot. We've got a lot of French Emuflight users.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A lot of great French pilots out there, dude. They got
one of my favorite things
going on over there.
One of my favorite things about that video was just the response that he had when we saw that we picked his video.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he left a nice comment, and on our Discord, he was just so excited.
I liked it, man. We're going through these videos people are submitting, and it's as we just did the Goons contest, it's so hard, man, to try to like judge these things or whatever, Yeah. And Kevin's like, "Yo, should we do it like 3 times a week?" I'm like, "There's no way. I'm watching all these fucking videos, bro. There's no way." I was like, "I think 1 a week's probably gonna be okay."
Man, watching all the ones for the Goons contest,
man,
was
it was so good though.
And they were good, some weeks, man. But all those dudes pushed so hard.
Yeah, there were some weeks I didn't even have time to watch all those. There was no way I'd go for more than that.
It was a lot, and they killed it. I mean, I know that like, some people are like, well, I may never be, we broke up. I don't know if you heard about it, Kev. Let me turn this off. Sorry. But basically, we broke the contest down. So we kind of put like beginners and intermediates in brackets, and then we took what we consider to be the pro level guys in brackets, and we basically effectively ran 2 contests at the same fucking time, and it was awesome though, man. And so like,
man, but did these guys show
up?
Oh
my god,
man?
Yes.
Made me want to.
Yes.
Nice.
It was unbelievable, man. Like, I wanted to showcase a couple of them tonight, but I think we're getting a little short on time. I think really, Kevin, is there anything else you would like to cover, man, before you jam tonight?
Well, just that, the release is going to be coming out soon. Should be real cool. I'll start putting up some videos on just some how-to with some of the new things, talk over them a little bit. But mainly for most users' case, they're just going to flash one of those preset tunes.
Right.
Fly it and enjoy. And then this release, it will be an RC candidate, so just RC1. So if anyone does find any bugs, we would love to know.
Right.
That's how we move things forward, because I'm good at breaking the code. Did that the other day, but we always end up fixing it in the end.
I know
nice.
Myself and Travis are starting to migrate our bigger birds into this latest release candidate. So we'll be doing some testing this weekend on the big birds, see if we see anything odd there. But for me, man, I mean, I can't really stress enough how much better my 10-inch flies on Emu. I spent a month and a half trying to tune out my first 10-inch on Betaflight, and I just couldn't get it where I wanted it. And I would say it took me about a day to get it better than that on Emu. And then, as I started building more 10-inch quads, I started, you learn things, right? And so when I kind of built my next one and started my PIDs at a certain place based on my experience with the first one, and it flies really good. It needs some tweaking, but it flies really fucking good. I'm really happy. Like, I wish my other one, I wish I would have started off in this place.
The
BQE, yeah, man. Here, I'll grab it.
Yeah, please. That thing is a beast.
I'll show off my 2 favorites. Hopefully I don't have props on this one right now. It's been on the bench. Let me see if I can get it in the frame. Oh.
Just turn off your green screen.
Turn off your background, Brett.
Yeah, we can't see anything.
Give me 1 sec.
It's trippy. I like it, but I can't see it.
Yeah, right?
It's just green.
Just looks like you have an antenna smacking your face.
There we go.
There we go. Oh yeah, that's the goods.
Sorry about that. So, yeah, this is
the military green is good, man.
This is a modified BQE Bandolero. Good friend of mine, Matt Williamson, was talking about building something a little larger, and we're both, BQE guys, and we started talking about it. So I, started talking to Bill. He started talking to Bill. We kind of attacked from two different fronts, and this is what we ended up with. Matt's built his on APD singles, and this is built on a Hobby Wing 60 amp 4-in-1, and it's wicked, man. It's like I've no wanting for power. I'm running a 2200 milliamp pack on top. It's agile. I feel like I could race or freestyle this frame with absolutely no problems. I mean, it's really fucking awesome.
That's a flippy floppy machine.
It is a flippy floppy machine. It's a Smush Dex comparatively, compared to like my other one here, which is
that's the way I like them.
This is my stand-in. This is a stand-in Slim Nasty 405. It's got string on it from hanging on the wall. But this was my first build, and it is a bad mofo. Both these quads, this quad comes in at $1,450, all up with the 2200 top mounted pack, which is nothing for a 10-inch because these motors put down insane thrust.
That's not bad.
But this was my problem child, really, man. It flew like stock Betaflight. It flew all right, but it had hella bounce back, and I spent ages trying to get rid of that. And I had a good PD ratio, and it just wouldn't. Like I could fucking plasma tree it, put it through PID toolbox. I was losing my mind. And ultimately, I pulled the FC and went back to my roots and threw a Strix F10 in it, threw Emuflight on it. I got it to a really good place, and in the meantime, I was building the BQE, and I started the BQE in a slightly different place. Had a fucking blast. Like the guys were like, "Dude, you're killing your packs." I'm like, "I'm having so much fun. I just don't want to land, dude. It's like that. You're flying, and like this is so good." And you like next thing you know, you're at fucking 17 volts on a 6S.
Ouch!
But
on that big 2200, that's $50 down.
Dude, I know. Well, they bounce back. I don't know. They keep going. I'm running those pyro packs, man. Man, they don't puff, dude. Like I ran some other packs, and day one puffed one, and I was like, man, really? And I had pyro. I'd ordered a couple of each because at the time there was only
what puffed.
I don't want to say, dude. I don't want to say.
Just tell me. Well, tell me after the stream.
I'll tell you after the stream. I don't want to put nobody out there. But yeah. So it puffed, and I was like,
I respect
it was actually a 2250 too. It was a slight. I'll tell you that on the stream. It was a 2250 of a competitor's version. I had like I don't know four pyro packs at the time, and I had like 3 of these. And like the first run fucking thing is like comes down hotter than hell, and I'm like, what the fuck, And
I just had a bad sell.
Maybe. But I noticed they don't.
But you're buying consistency.
They don't hold up though.
At least that's what it seems to me.
Like when I run those packs,
I feel
like I need to be more gentle on those packs. Like I don't run those down low. But like the pyro packs, I fucking abuse, man. Like in the worst possible ways.
I abuse all my packs, man.
Yeah. But like with like I said, with Emu, with the new iMuff, and with Emu on both these birds, I feel really good about where my tunes are headed.
Feel real good about the muff.
Oh, the iMuff is my jam. I love the muff.
Good stuff.
He loves
I
the
love
muff.
the
You
muff.
heard it here first, guys.
Fucking, and then I got on the wall. I just scored from Matthew Tickle, who's a big X class and Beast class guy. He hooked me up fucking fat with a basically mostly built out 8S box frame that Speed Belmont apparently had designed, and I'm really stoked to get that one going, man, because I got it's. I'll show that to you.
It looks like a ripper, dude. It's like a giant pixel.
It does look like a big pixel, kinda, yeah. So it's an 8S box. It needs it's gonna need some. It needs a little work, but this one's running. I think this is the iFlight 80 amps on here, and It's got a pyro board in there, but unfortunately that pyro is going away, and I'm putting a Helio on it this weekend. So hopefully by maybe this weekend I'll get to fly it. I had to buy. Uses these. Have you guys ever seen these connectors? You guys ever use these connectors? I don't hear you, Artie.
Are those? Oh, I work sometimes.
Say what?
I use those at work sometimes.
A barrel connect. Oh, the triangle. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen them. I've never used them.
This is called an RC.
Yeah, we use those on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we use some of those where I work on our big, it's 10-foot wingspan carbon fiber composite airplanes that will fly around.
These are the RC Pro Plus. RC Pro Plus Supra X. This is an X6, and each one of these connectors is rated for 200 amps. And the
Jesus.
It's 200. Well, they're 200 amp constant and 240 peak per connector. And the X5s I think are like 125 and 160. It's insane, man. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I bought 12 sets of these and they're $50.
Oof.
Yeah, not cheap, but I don't know. This is my first ADAS build, so we'll see what happens. Should be it's either going to be amazing or it's going to be a glorious fire. One of the two. Which, you know, for science.
You know, send it.
For fucking science, bro. All right, so what time we got? We got hour and a half in. All right, so I don't know. Is there anything? I mean, trying to think about anything else macro oriented. I want to do some more discussion about macro. I'd like to maybe get Travis on here and talk to him. Maybe you should come back.
Travis, he's a legend at this.
Yeah, Travis is killing it in the macro scene, and we have a lot of fun together racing one another, man. It's a fucking blast.
That's awesome. Wait, can we talk? Can you mention the names of the guys that did win the Goonskwad contest?
Oh, Vice and Eridio. Hopefully I say that right. Eridio, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
I was saying a rodeo or something.
Eridio and vicious motherfucking Vice won the Goonskwad competition. Yeah, they killed it. You know, Vice is a newcomer, dude. He joined as a recruit pretty much the day I started the contest and fucking hammered it. Every week he was out hammering packs, dude, and
getting better like leaps and bounds in each video, man. It's so awesome.
If you went back and you watched his first video, and then you go and you watch his last, it looks like a completely different fire.
Yeah, dude. The progression is.
And that was what I mean. That's kind of what we were shooting for. I think with the contest, I think that I mean, dude, the guys had so much respect and love for each other and so much mutual support. I'm going to mute somebody. Somebody's loud. Or somebody mute themselves. The guys had so much love and respect for each other and so much mutual support. It was fucking unbelievable. I mean, for a competition, they were completely they weren't really competitive, you know, per se, outside of their flying.
Just so much, encouragement from one another was just super.
It was pretty fucking amazing.
It was good to see, especially with the drama that can go down and the kind of jealousy and hurt. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was just nice to see a bunch of dudes cheering each other on, even though they were technically in the competition.
Yeah, competing. That's what I was thinking. I thought it was pretty dope, and we want to do a lot more contests and some more friendly contests, and like I said, I really want to do some maybe some liftoff base shit too. We can get some things going on in there,
definitely.
Especially
Cool.
those of us that can't really get out all the time because of the weather right now.
Not everybody can just sit outside in short sleeves right now.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm fucking long johns and fucking. Dude, we all bought those Ethics lipo bags that have you plug the battery into.
Just so you can stick your hands in there between flights. Yeah. I thought about that shit. I was like, man, that kind of would just be like having hot hands that I don't have to replace every time.
Yeah, man. That shit was awesome. And yeah, so like pretty much myself and I think Tex got one and Vice and yeah, we're all fucking rocking those things right now because it makes a difference, man. You go out in 30 some degree weather and your packs are all nice and toasty and you pull a couple out, throw one in your pocket, throw a couple in, close your bag up, go fly them, come back, rotate. Just keep rotating packs in and out of there and you don't get all that sag and shit. I used to puff packs in the winter just because of the cold and the sag. Like I would just puff packs and I was like, fuck, that's no good. So this has definitely been a clutch item to have for the winter time.
For sure.
Fuck it. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say. I think that with the release of Emuflight, a lot of guys like Travis is running the Revolt. I really want to see the how the new filtering runs this weekend on his Revolt 10-inch. I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see. Because like,
what's he running on?
He's running Emu on a Revolt. Yo, you know the fucking funniest part about this whole situation. So Emu came out, everybody's rocking it, but of course I'm running Helios. Like I've tested it on a couple other boards, but pretty much everything I run is Helio, and so I'm having a good old fucking time. And and everyone else started running it, and then somebody brought it to our attention that their filtering wasn't responding the way they expected, and we're like, holy fuck. And so big scramble, fucking mad testers. I just want to thank our testing team. Our testing team is the fucking bomb because some of them put in mad hours a day, as much as the devs almost in some regards in terms of testing. And it's pretty fucking amazing to have those guys as a team. I just want to shout them out because it's because of them we find these problems. But ultimately my point where I was going is I think it's going to be amazing to see it really running, like especially on like the bigger quads and stuff. There was already running so well on like a Revolt, for example, and the IMA wasn't working properly, and now it is. And so to see how it really should be is going to be awesome. It's going to be really clutch, and I think it's really going to turn some heads. Right, Kev?
That's awesome. Great job, fellas.
Yeah, it really should be. Those testers are, essential to like us doing things.
Yeah.
Because something that's been so nice and helpful is we can release something, not even be 100% sure if it's going to work out well. I've got some whoops and every build, I like to just fly a few packs on a whoop, make sure it'll fly.
Yeah.
Before I send it out to everyone, but then send it out to them, get more feedback from good pilots, genuinely good pilots.
Good tuners. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Thoughtful.
Yeah.
Get their input on everything and then move forward from that. Because actually recently one of our testers didn't like a change that we made to the Helio IMUF filter, so the one on the F3 chip, and he was describing why he didn't like it. And so I was like, okay, and I sent him a change in like 10 minutes, and he really likes that change now. So
right.
Definitely that input from testers is invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without it, you so much farther back than we currently are. It's just those testers able to see that our GUI is working right, to see that things are logging correctly, that just the whole experience is working together as it should. They're there for that, and they're able to also help with some preset tunes moving forward.
How many presets do you think we're going to have for release?
I know that Pierre's got one, and then we're going to have a Tiny Whoop one, the Mockingbird preset. So we should have at least 1 or 2 5-inch presets, and then like some toothpick or Tiny Whoop presets. And then going forward, something that's nice is to get new presets into your GUI. You don't have to download a new version of the GUI.
Right.
Just gets all of that online. Right. So going forward, if we do make any changes to presets, that'll automatically go into your configurator.
Yeah, that's dope. That's awesome. Really dope. And I know myself, and hopefully we'll get Travis, myself, to contribute some big quad presets. There's actually a lot of macro and XClass guys starting that have been using and are starting to use Emuflight. My friend Pat just actually ordered parts to build a Bandolero after he saw my video, and he's going to be building out one, and he's building his out on like, I don't know, at least 8S, if not 12. I don't know. I think it's 8S. But
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's going to be insane. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty fucking excited to see these bandos getting built. And, you know, I had to laminate my build deck to 4mm because the build deck was 2mm. And I'm like, yo, I don't think this is enough, like, for the kind of stress I'm going to put on this frame. So I was like, so when I was buying carbon from Bill, I'm like, dude, I want mad build decks because I'm going to fucking like sand them down and epoxy them together and clamp them. I laminated the fuckers together, man.
Now that you know how to do that,
after doing nasty,
you're nasty.
Yeah. And so, yeah, totally. So I'm like, yeah, I'm laminating it. And it actually it worked out fucking great. And so with Bill's, I think he's cutting some plates, yeah, and 4mm for the custom. It's still a custom order.
Now, wasn't the 5-inch a 4mm plate?
Now the bottom deck was 4mm, the build deck was 2, and the top plate was 2. And so what I did was I knocked the press nuts out of one 2mm deck and just sanded it gently and did a water break test. Just cleaned it all up with a bit of acetone and alcohol on both. And then the other side of the one that I left the bolts in, and I got this aerospace grade epoxy and a gun and fucking slapped it together and then bolted and clamped the shit out of it and left it sit for like 2 days. Just let it set. And man, that shit it's solid as fuck. But I'm grateful that, you know, the guys that are custom ordering now are going to get to see that as a piece, and they don't have to go through that. And that was a big design. That's one thing I love about Bill Brissett. He wants to deliver one of the most friendly user experience as possible in terms of his frames. He wants to make sure that they're getting parts that work and everything is fairly easy to put together, and you don't have to glue things. I'm like, fuck it, dude. You know, cut the arms out of 2 5mm pieces. I'll glue it together. I don't give a fuck. He's like, no way, dude. So it was funny. Like, we talked about it, and I'm like, all right, fuck it. If we can afford it, cut 10mm. I don't care. I'm like, fucking send it, dude. And he's like, all right. And then the next thing I know, we get fucking these 10 by 12mm arms. I'm like, Jesus Christ. There's more carbon than in some people's whole quad.
I built a Rebel graffiti, and that thing's got 8mm arms.
Oh my God.
So massive.
So speaking of that, there's that Rebel 10-inch too, which
the Yeti, man, that thing looks sweet.
You gonna do it?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to go with the Bandolero or the Yeti.
I think
those are definitely my two choices at the moment.
I think the Yeti looks like
I like Rebel.
I know you like Rebel.
Yeah. The total package is so well done. Yeah. Dude. And,
the aluminum looks really nice.
Those guys branded really well. Yeah, and their designs tend to be sound and tend to be robust.
I think from my experience,
in a 10, I want robust.
I think the Bando, the Nasty is way more robust personally, but in terms of strength and durability, I think that the Rebel is definitely, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but from what I'm seeing, I feel like it's more suited for long range and, you know, more chill cinematographic type stuff. Whereas like the Bando, I have no fucking fears just sending it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing. I like I said, I have this inherent need to flippy floppy everything I have. Like, I was literally, the first time I went, I long ranged out a mile in Colorado, and yeah, I had to do a Rubik's,
right,
3/4 of a mile away from me, like an idiot. You know, like, I just couldn't help it. I just couldn't help it. But I didn't lose it, thankfully. I didn't have to walk.
Did you have a GPS on it?
Exactly.
A walk of shame.
No, not at all. And it was on an 11. I took it a mile out, so 2 miles total. It was a mile out and a mile back on an 1100 mAh 6S battery. On my Alien, it's right at 610.
Wow.
610 grams. And it made it beautifully.
That's dope. One of the challenges we have in New York City is we don't have a lot of airspace. So I want to do a mile challenge with the Nasty, actually, because I think the Nasty is well suited to extreme speed.
Take it over the water.
Oh, well. So, anyways, so Bill actually sent me. He mapped out a motherfucking. There's a park that we fly at over in out in Queens called oh my God, Cunningham Park, and Bill took a satellite view, and actually he drew out a course that is exactly a mile. So I have the picture saved. I'm gonna go and fly that fucker with my GPS and time myself and see what I can do. Because most of the guys that do mile challenges, they run a straight line. So, as you know, the fastest way to get somewhere is a straight line, right? Yeah. So I'm going to see how fast I can do a mile with turns. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
for sure. Well, I mean, it's all about like output management. So it's a chairlift,
right?
Just set it at 12 amps and just let it run.
Right.
Let go, stretch. Think about it. It's a boring fucking ride out, man. It's a boring. I don't give a shit. I was in a beautiful area, like right at the base of fucking Estes in Colorado in August.
Yo, you know what
I flew a mile in some beautiful terrain, and it was still just boring. I mean, it's pretty. It was really, really pretty, but it was still just a boring flight.
All right, I'm gonna live dangerously here. I want to do something before we start wrapping this up because I know everybody's like got shit to do tomorrow.
Yeah, this needs to get wrapped up.
But I think what we should try to do, if we can, I'm gonna see. So bear with me a sec. This is gonna be totally experimental, but I want to try to do this. All right. Whoops. Let me know if you can hear it. Shake your heads and stuff. Give me 1 second. Oops. All right. You guys see that? Oh. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? Yes? No? All right. Damn it.
That was a solid.
Did you guys see it? Could you hear it? Could you hear it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to fucking... Somebody was chatting to me, and I couldn't read it. So that was Vicious Vice. That was his entry that won him the spot. I thought we should share that one tonight. And let me see if I can get Ed's video. I think we should watch that too. I think that's relevant. And then I think we should wrap. Let's see. All right, cool. So this is Yeah, Aerodio. This is his winning entry for the Goons competition. So,
oh, this is a good one too.
Yeah, baby. All right, here we go. Screen capture. Did he bump it?
That was a ripper.
Bro, you're an animal.
That was a fucking ripper.
That was wicked, man. That was an excellent one.
I was good.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched that, and I was just absolutely amazed the way he went from big air, proximity, back to big air. Just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, man.
He killed it, man.
So that was our pro entry, and that is why he took the top place. But yo, B-Rad was one vote away. He was neck and neck. First I thought B-Rad was gonna win,
it too,
and then
dude.
I was like, oh.
I thought he was too.
I was like, you know,
he did some trippy spins
Bro.
and some natty flips that were just like dialed.
Yeah,
to,
man.
Like, very controlled. Not looking wild like I would.
Yeah, man. So I think we should showcase some of those vids next week, and we can show off some of the new stuff that comes through. And
Definitely.
And
we should do the runners up.
Yeah, man. I think we'll showcase the runners up next week.
Those were good videos.
There's some really good work in there. Really,
it was really good, dude.
And I personally like having a bit of that motor sound.
Yeah.
You know, being able to hear how clean those motors are. That's something else.
I think it's like if it's blended right. Like some people don't like to hear props at all. Some people want to hear the props because they're looking at what they're seeing. You know, some pilots are like, you know, they really like want to hear props. You know, they want to, when they see something, they want to hear it so they can really associate is it really tuned that good, or is it hyper smooth, or is it fucking real steady, or what's really going on there, you know? And I think that's clutch. Like for me personally, I turn hyper smooth off on my Hero 8 for all my Bandolero footage because I've been trying to just kind of show off where the frame's at and where my tune's at right now, and I'm pretty stoked about where it's coming, where it's going. But it's like some guys like, why would you even carry a Hero 8 and not use hyper smooth? I'm like, dude, because I know what I'm doing. I want to see what is going on. I want to hear it, you know, like.
Yeah, it depends on what you're going for. I just feel like it's a tool.
Yo,
hyper smooth looks.
I'm not saying I'm not going to use that shit when I want to make a cinematic video, but like, you know.
Yeah, I just think it just depends on what you're looking for. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying it's a tool.
Totally.
It's a tool in the chest, but when I'm trying to figure out a tune,
I'm not gonna run that shit.
And I don't think. I mean, I want to see it, as raw as I can. Give me all the vibes.
Yeah, totally.
Show me where I'm fucking.
Totally. Because there's a few things I've seen like in high wind. When I'm low proximity and I have no wind, my 10-inch flies 100% straight, and I have zero bobble at all. But I noticed in the wind out at the Bando this weekend when I was up high and it was windy, I got a very tiny little bit of roll, just a little bit. I never could see it before, but if I would have been running a hyper smooth, I would have never caught it. So
yeah, definitely not. But hyper smooth has its flaws too, just like real steady.
Yeah.
And it's depends on. I mean, you can't go in with just a shit tune.
Yeah.
First off, with anything,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll find out when you're flicking it out, high up at some altitude, coming, top throttle, you'll just get a waver that you never noticed before.
Right.
I mean, but they'll pick it up for whatever reason. The gyro and the GoPro reads it.
Right.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of Real Steady Go, we might actually be working on some things to make Real Steady Go work on more than just GoPros. Kind of combine a bit of the black box footage, the black box logging, combine some of that gyro data with some.
I was wondering when that was going to happen, because it just makes sense. You're messing with a gyro. You're taking readings from a gyro on the camera. Why couldn't you get more data and be more accurate?
Yeah, it should need less like vibration dampening as well on your cameras, because it can take the filtered data that your flight controller is spitting out, and you can use that data instead. So that's something that might be coming in the future. I know the Real Steady Go guy is looking into doing that. Wow. And yeah, you might be seeing some new features coming to your.
If you have fingers near that, dude, push that motherfucker forward.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Just keep your hand on that, dude. Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah, then you get your DVR stabilized.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, man. Like, especially, look, it's all about barrier to entry. If we want this to make any money anywhere for anybody, really,
right,
you have to grow it, right? And it's starting to happen. I mean, we're seeing that with guys like, film guys are saying, oh, shit, not only are these fun to fly and a cool skill to have, but they can get some incredibly dynamic angles.
Totally.
And they're starting to see the benefit there. So, I mean, it's jumping off, but let's make it as easy as possible for the kid that's 15 to be able to spend $100 on a program and $400 on a drone and to make a video that they're proud of. Or just like, oh, shit, that's fucking cool. I mean, because that's really what it's about, right? Like, that's why I'm a big-ass kid. I'm flying robots. I get electric skateboards.
Right.
Like, fuck, I just want to have that freedom, that, outer body experience, that live video game.
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, we can make that better and easier to get a product that you like. Because, I mean, look, it's all about what you see, right? It's all about what you're looking at, and if you're not racing, you're recording.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's dope to see, like my friend,
to be able to do that to DVR. That would be next level.
And fucking anything though. I mean, like anything with a gyro in it, or even maybe you could look at adding a gyro to cameras and track that data, or in a different way if needed, which would be sick. And
I'm sure there's a gyro in most like high-end cameras.
I mean, but like, now you're starting to see like guys throwing a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera on a macro quad or a fucking 5D. They're just fucking bottom mounting a fucking 3K, 4K battery and slapping a 5K.
Hey, bro, that insurance business is fucking killer, dude.
And you could stabilize that.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Yeah, it would be dope. And I mean, just like you can't, there's shots that you can get, like Matt Beardsley was on an aircraft carrier getting shots of shit that you would just not get any other fucking way. Like, what I mean? There's no way. You're not going to fly a chopper or even really probably an AP drone in certain regards, in those conditions and score that. I mean, I think FPV drones, try framing those shots in those conditions would be insane, I think. personally. It's just, but he was pulling off dope shit with fucking FPV.
Well, give me 25 batteries on anything, bro. If I got 25 batteries, I'm going to be a fucking ace at some point. One of those packs, one of those SD cards is going to have some
together an
gold. It's going to have some gold.
Right.
And when I'm done,
what the fuck's wrong with my light? Yeah, I'm with you.
It's going to be something decent for sure. I mean, it's going to be worth watching.
Hell yeah.
For me.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, well.
But that would be, push that one forward, man.
So
anything I could do to push that forward.
Kevin, thank you for your time tonight, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
Dude.
And I'm glad you could join us for this first experiment of streamage that us goons are trying to put together. So, and the opportunity to talk to you about Emu and where it's going on different size quads and things is fucking really awesome. I mean, I talk to you all the time about it, but I think that
it's really great to hear and get a direct source and to see how enthusiastic you are about it is exciting. Anything pushing any of this forward is a good thing, and you're definitely doing that. So.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Kevin, throw out that YouTube channel one more time, just so anybody that wants to get on there for your updates.
So if you want, not personal, but if you want the latest videos of just, dev, just every time a new build comes out, a new test build, that YouTube channel is Quick Flash. Just spelled like my name here on this has been, and you'll just need to search channels and you'll find it. Every time we release a new test version of software, I try to.
Kevin, do you guys have like a Patreon, a PayPal, some kind of way that people can kick back to you guys for the work you're putting into this project?
Yeah, so we do have a Emuflight Patreon. I think the link's in the GUI somewhere.
I think it's on the wiki. It's on the wiki.
Well, we should put that in the description when we change all those things.
Okay.
Or add on.
I can do that.
But look, guys, if you're into it and you use it, pitch back, man. These dudes put a lot of work in. The only way we can push grassroots projects like this forward is to help.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do much. A couple bucks a month would make a difference. Hook these dudes up. They're doing it for the hobby, and that's pushing everything forward, which is what we want, right?
I mean, I just love it when I hear someone say, they were flying Betaflight. They thought it was flying well. They decided to give Emuflight a try. And within a day, they had a tune better than Betaflight, and they're just loving life. It's not so much the fact that, they like it more than Betaflight, but it's just that they're enjoying things more. That's the part that makes it worthwhile, is knowing all these people are enjoying things and that they're liking the direction things are going, and they're just a bit happier because of some of the stuff that
I know the day I came from Butterfly, and just coming from Butterfly, like just that little bit of a change, I was just like, holy shit, like this is great. And my 6-inch flew fucking great, but I noticed I had jello in my FPV feed, and I literally didn't change shit. I just flashed Emu and upgraded my IMUF, and all the jello was gone. It was just like, hallelujah. It flies amazing. It feels great. And my fucking high def feed is completely clean. So I think that's a pretty clutch statement in, just literally stock PIDs. I changed the W on the IMUF for it being a bigger quad. That was it.
Yeah, I remember that. You were real hesitant to try Emu.
I watched. Yeah, I mean, it was funny because like I was invited into that group before it was even really the official Emu thing, before it was named or anything, when Mariners started, and my quads flew really good. Like I had no major problems. So I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of vibe. That's my approach, and I just felt like. I was watching, and then you came along, and then some of the other devs started coming along, and I'm still watching, and I'm like, I think it was pretty much you and you, and just after Andre was on for a little bit, and I was like, I saw another IMUF update, and I'm like, all right, me actually see what's going on. Let me fly this. And then I was fucking blown away. I'm like, I honestly wish I wouldn't have waited, but I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't change a thing. I'm told, like, everything happens the way it's supposed to. And it was fucking like, boom. And I'm like, all right, everything's getting flashed. Fucking everything's getting flashed. Oh man, I went crazy, and now it's like, and then it was like I flew it for a while, and then I started like Travis. I'm like, dude, all right, it's time for you to try this, and then it was like, and then he got it. It's like, holy shit, this is good. I'm like, yeah, dude, like it's fucking good, and then started getting some other people on it, and then like I'm hitting up my X-Class buddies. I'm like, dude, try this shit. You got a Helio or something? Just try this shit. Tell me what happens. It's safe. I've tested it myself, but like just try it, see what you think, and let me know. And everybody's coming back with positive, and I was just like, dude, this is great. Like, let's do this. And I've been trying to be all about it ever since, just like in terms of supporting and helping and whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about it, most of the negativity that I've seen with it comes from people that have never flown it. I just very, very occasionally get people that fly it that actually say they prefer beta flight. It happens on the odd occasion. It's usually more with race flight.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Right. That still prefer what they've got. But
just know it better.
Even those people, they're not like mad or cause any drama with it. It's the people that haven't tried it that are getting,
that's not for nothing. I think that's one of the amazing things that obviously there was a lot of, due to the various circumstances, a lot of drama around Helio, and that was challenging to be a part of and around, to say the least. It took a lot out of people, to say the least. And for me, that was a big thing with Emu, because I was like, this is what Marin has started and Kevin has been furthering is a continuation of what there is magic in Helio. There's no doubt about it. And he's been able to capture that essence and improve upon it and make it a much better, more positive thing. And there's no drama around it, which is so refreshing to be there. And I mean, I'm sure some people talk shit, but we don't see it. So that's cool.
And the bigger it gets, the more people talk shit. It's just the nature of the beast, right? But I mean, just know the majority is quiet.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. We see a lot more stoked people than people trying to be a naysayer. So that's, proof is in the pudding, right?
Well, I mean, regardless, just know for every one dislike, there's 100 people that are perfectly happy with that shit. And don't get discouraged.
No, I mean,
by a bunch
I don't even think that we've been that worried about it per se, but since a lot of the
look, man, I've been in this hobby for 3 years and I have seen a lot of people react to it. And that's the wrong thing to do, is to react to it at all.
Well, I mean, we saw a lot of it in Helio.
Because it's dumb. It's just a couple of dumb, loud motherfucking assholes.
Yeah, you just gotta, when you get some of that, you just gotta ignore it and just keep moving
I mean,
on.
I guess what my point though is we don't really see. It's refreshing to not really see it and not really have all that extra baggage in. Even though some people are like, blah, Helio, I'm off, blah, whatever, and I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Like this shit, this is amazing, and we're,
Again, I think like Kevin said, it's a bunch of people that are just couch surfers. Just sitting in front of the computer all day, and they just want to talk shit about.
I know that for me personally, like when I've seen a few negative comments, I've personally just tried to kill them with kindness, and you know what I mean, and then it's like usually wins them over, so to speak. You know what I mean? So like I'm not gonna argue, like but I'd field a lot of the I field a lot of that, you know what I mean, when people are saying things. I have to deal with it, and so I just try to deal with it positive. Word.
So let's wrap this thing up, dude.
Word.
We're the only people watching.
All right,
this.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Kevin, for coming. And
yeah,
I'm actually tired and losing my mind. You wrap it up. Already, fuck, somebody else wrapping it up.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thank you, Kevin, for coming out, man.
Yeah, happy
spend
to
some
be
time
here.
talking about that. And
yeah, dude, I'm
Dumpling,
stoked you
dude.
jumped on
It's
here,
been
dude. I was just like
absolutely
throwing
awesome.
shit out there. Like, I don't know who's gonna be ready for this,
Yeah,
but
man, it's awesome. It took some pressure off me.
Yeah,
I felt
dude.
really good about it.
Glad
Thanks
to join
everybody
in,
for
guys.
watching,
Glad to
man.
join
And,
in.
fix the technical issue for
keep
next
it
week,
positive,
and
keep flying in, and
yeah, we'll have some more fun shit. Exactly.
we'll get better every time.
Just curious, were you able to
YouTube will
record all
archive
of this
it.
live while we were doing it?
I didn't make a local recording, but I can download it.
Okay, so okay. I was just wondering if you had a local one, because if that was the case,
Oh,
it
that's a
wouldn't
very
have had
good
all
point.
the voice issues.
Next time.
I don't
Next
know.
time, brother.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing y'all are all on your desktops, and I'm on an iPad. That may be another problem. So I'll try and make sure I got my desktop in a
All good.
more suitable location.
Yeah, that's
next
a good
time.
point, Kev. We'll fucking have to
No worries,
record
man.
next time, and then we
I'm
can just
on my
upload
back,
it straight.
Yeah, so even if
I
the
didn't
stream
even
fails,
think
you
about it.
still
I even
got
have
all
a
that
button to
footage.
record. I didn't
Yeah,
push
so
it.
you can Hey guys,
right, guys, we're gonna
let's
let the
talk
stream
about this
go.
afterwards, man.
Yeah,
Kill
thank you
that live
guys.
stream. Thanks, guys, man.
Send it.
Thanks, everyone.
Y'all have a great night. Thanks to guys
Have a
that
good one.
watched. See you.